Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make freestyle beats. Freestyle beats are going to give you a lot of engagement on YouTube and different platforms because people just love looping a beat back that's fire and just keep spitting until they run out of rhymes. Now, the key thing I see in a lot of producers who make freestyle beats is one, they don't have like a swing to the beat or a groove to the beat that like is catchy enough to rap to. And two, their beats are way too fast. Like nobody can mentally even think of words if the beat is so fast and you're like trying to come up with 1,000 words in a second. It's just impossible unless you're Eminem or somebody like that. Now, one thing I will say is there's two different styles for freestyle beats. There's gritty beats and there's smoother beats like Rick Ross type lush smoothness. Then there's the gritty stuff like Mobb Deep. Then you have a whole different category like melodic trap beats. Chances are people are not going to be freestyling to melodic trap beats. And by freestyling, I'm talking about rapping bars. It's different than singing. So you got to, like, once you know those mental categories, you'll start picking sounds different and BPMs different. So the BPM that you want to sit around for like rappity rap is 91, 93, 95. Once you go above 97, it's too fast. People can't rap that fast. Okay, unless it's like a singy, songy type of vibe. So next thing, we need to grab a sample. So let's go to tracklib.com and I'm just going to grab a sample that has a vibe. Now I'm going to show you shortcuts in FL. So let's open up something called Slice X and let's just pick a random sample. I'm just really going to pick something random. I just need something with like a creepy vibe. I think that one has a creepy vibe, but I forget. That's smoother. That's kind of gritty, but well, yeah, let's grab this. I don't want to keep going through samples if we don't have to. Okay, so drag it into Slice X, go to the regions tab, go to auto slice, change this to medium auto slicing. So what this will do is automatically slice the sample up for you. So we can go to piano roll and it has different chops for you. This way it saves a lot of time. Now you can go in and re-chop it if you want, but this saves so much time. Now, the only thing is this sample seems like it's so chopped up that it doesn't have like long samples. See how this is like one note, but it's like 7 chops. So this is where you would have to go in and start deleting stuff that doesn't make sense. Like right here. So sometimes the algorithm just does its own thing. This is the work you would have to do. And if this is going to take too much work, I might just pick a different sample because this is like tedious. Unless there's a way to highlight. This may or may not work. So cross your fingers. It didn't work. All right, so we got to manually delete marker by marker, which is kind of insanity. Anyway, so now when you go into the piano roll, those first 5 chops at least. Okay, now we can arrange them. Now the thing is, when you draw anything into the piano roll, it's going to be super quantized and super like computerized. So you just have to remember that. I need a dum 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 dum. So that's cool because it has little time errors, I'll call them, in there. Okay, so we're going to just paste that into the playlist. Go to song mode now. Now in that 4th thing, we want it to change up. So let's go to the top left, go to make unique, and change it up on the 4th thing. Okay, so let's let that ring out. We don't have the sample for the Now, this may or may not work. Let's try it. Let's add a slide note underneath. So that way it's considered a sound effect more so than a note. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's go to pattern 3. Now we just need drums that match. You can use drum breaks. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do at this point. Let's just use individual drums. Nine takes one. We never nine to break some. But nine to break some. So anytime that nine to say something. So you want to freestyle as you go. They something. Look, minute nine with a nine to break something. Look, say something. Look, it's time. As long as he does know. So, the speaker pole riding on it, riding like a sweet and low. Look in it. So here's the biggest mistake people make with the snares and the 90s vibe. Turn up your time shift. Their snares were not on the grid like that. They played them a little bit behind the metronome. Now this snare is very like, it's just like, and then it stops. So hold on, I gotta fix this, trim it. This one works. Again, you don't need trap drums to be smacking through on these freestyle beats. Now the next thing is the kick. Now the kick's probably gonna take you the most time because the kick has to match the sample. So most people pick these powerful kicks. These are not meant to be like boom bap kicks because there's too much energy in the kick. Something like this is a little more. So I'll show you how to make your kick sound better, like more 90s. Go to your graph editor, go to time shift, and just add a little time shift. And then you can mess with the velocity if you want. So notice how I went. The B is louder than the boom. And again, you can go to your wrench tool, add that time shift. And that's going to give you that looseness that your beat needs to be freestylable too. And you can also go to your slice X and use time shift. So stuff fits in the groove better. So it's all this stuff combined. Turn the volume up here. And you just want to loop it. People just want to, when they're freestyling, they don't want things to change too much because they're just anticipating what's next in their mind, so they don't have time to really sit there and like listen to the music. So here's a couple things you could do. You can go to snap to grid, beat mode, and take out the last bit of drums on that turnaround spot. So at the fourth thing, the eighth thing, let's take out the drums. So see how at the end it's different? So we need to make this unique so it matches the rhythm of me playing the sample. Dun, dun. So the kick needs to match. And And let me add that time shift back to the to that kick. So let me show you what this will look like as a whole. You can highlight all these, hit Control G to group the drums, hit Shift, and then left click and drag to duplicate over. And now it just needs a vibe. So now the question is how you're gonna process the sample. So let's put the drums here. I'm just gonna experiment with the drums. Now notice we don't have a hi-hat. We could grab one. Let's grab a hi-hat. I don't think this needs a hi-hat. Okay, so I know I'm moving a little bit quicker, but this is just to give you, you know, how to add polish to this. Okay, so I'm just adding a reverb for the drums, putting it on full wet level, sending the drums to this a little bit with the left click. So they feel like they're in a space. Then we could add a preamp to the drums. This is not mandatory. It just gives you that kind of 90s crunch. Taking out some of the highs. Again, your drums don't need, your kick does not need to slam through the track. We could even put the sample in the room so it all feels like they're in the same space. So if you want a little more bounce, you could add a delay, just a very subtle delay. Like you don't want it to overtake the sample. And I even recommend cutting out the lows with the high pass filter. Just so it's super in the background. So at this point, you're just finding a better kick. This kick isn't the perfect kick. That's gonna take you the most time, is just finding the right kick. And I think the snare could use a little reverb on the snare. Give you that like Mobb Deep type of vibe. See how now it feels like we sample from something? Now that we could get more deep into it with compression and all this. So I'll compress the whole track just to show you. So now you have something that feels like it's from one record as opposed to all these different sounds. So that's the basics for how to create freestyle beats. So take that and run with it. Subscribe if you're new, like the video, and you can learn a lot more and get a bunch of free sounds. Just go to www.producercommunity.net. Peace out, guys.